Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, in this video, I would like to explain to you about the conceptual article that I already made before, and it is about the impact of using Typhoon games to improve basic grammar for students in the junior high school. So first, I would like to show my PowerPoint that I already made. Yeah, and the topic is about the impact of Typhoon games to improve basic grammar for 7th grade students at SMP 1 Tahuna. So, here there are a table of content that we will review or study today. For the first section A, there is introduction. So in the introduction, I would like to explain to you about the reason why I chose this topic. And then for the section B, there is also literature review, and it is about previous study. And then for the third, there is research methodology, and for the last, there is references. Okay, so let's get to for the section A, and it is about the introduction. In the introduction, for the first, there is a reason for choosing this topic. I chose this topic because it might be challenging to teach English to young learners. Simply providing text and telling students to read and speak won't help them comprehend the material. Yeah, so the reason why I chose this topic is using games as one of type of media is one such strategy. So games are enjoyable activities that can make people feel content and happy. But the one utilized here is a learning game that has been altered to support students in learning basic English grammar. Yeah, because of that, the use of grammar in English is very important. Because in mastering the 4 skills in English, it's not about the listening, it's not about the reading, it's not about the writing, and also reading. But grammar is the important thing to study for the first when we have to learn about English. Grammar is very useful in daily life because without its use, language and structure will become messy. That's why grammar is very important in mastering the 4 skills of English. So in teaching English, grammar is very necessary as a part of speech. English grammar is considered an essential guide to learning English effectively. And then after that, I have the statements of the problem. Based on the background of the problem above, the research, or I formulated a research question as follows: how effective is the use of Typhoon game? So in the statements of the problem, it is there is a question that how effective is the use of the Typhoon game? And then for the third, there is objective of the study. The purpose of this study is to find out effective of using Typhoon game to learning basic grammar for students in the level grade 7 for SMP 1000. And then for the next, there is significance of the study. So in the significance of the study, there is 2 significances. For the first, there is theoretical, and the second, there is practical. For the theoretical, I have 2 theoretical significance. For the first, the result of this research is expected can be helpful for any further researchers who want to study for the same case. And then for the second, the researcher or I expect this research to improve and develop insight, especially related to the students' English grammar. And then for the practical, I have 3 practical significations. And then for the first 2, the researchers, so it can be useful for them because it is to know exactly the condition of the field or the problem of the learning process. And then for the students, I expect that it can be help students to understand the lesson more easily and make them like English more because of the fun use of this method. And then for the third, there is to the readers. So readers will get information about English teaching methods using the Typhoon games. Okay, and then we will go to the next slide, and it is about literature review. Okay, in the here there is some point, and for the first there is preview studies. So there are some journals that I use to this article, so it can help me to look for the previous study. Yeah, I have 6 in here. And then the second, theoretical background. For the first, there is definition of grammar. So grammar is a set of rules or grammar guidelines that can be used as a reference in learning English. And then after that, the definition of the Typhoon game. So in an effective learning, teacher can create a more interactive atmosphere with the use of media, for example, the use of games. Yeah, the game used in this study is called Typhoon game. This game has never been done in previous studies, but several schools abroad have implemented it as part of the learning media process. So, the game has been around for a long time and was originally played by passing cards on whiteboard, which required a lot of setup time. So, as the result of one of the authors used Microsoft PowerPoint to replicate the game's digital instructional material. And then for the next, there is framework of the present study. We can see on the PowerPoint here that the framework divided into 3: input, process, and also output. In the input, we have grammar material. So after that, we will make it process. The process is treating students using the Typhoon game. And the material is about the grammar. And in the process, the topic of the grammar is about the basic grammar. It is like we will ask them about the verbal sentence, or maybe verb or noun, something like that. And then in the output, the students' mastery of the grammar. So in the output, I hope that the students can improve their basic to learn basic grammar, and then it means students can use the sentence using correct grammar. Okay, and then for the next, we'll go in the section 3 or section C, and it is about the research methodology. For the research methodology, I also have some points. For the first, there is research design. So in this research, I use quantitative research method. The experimental research design used is a true experimental design. It means the sample used in the experimental and control groups, and then those taken randomly from a certain population. The step taken is to divide the subject into 2 randomly selected groups. Then the experimental group gets treatment which is using Typhoon games, while the comparison group does not get the treatment. The form of design used is only pre-test, post-test only control group design. And then the next slide about the population and sample. Population and sample. So the population of this research is 7 students of SME 1000. They were 8A till 8I. And then for the sample, I only took 2 classes, and it is for 8D and also 8F. And then this research applied the purposive sampling. For the next slide, there is instruments. For the instruments, I used observation, documentation, and also test. So it is because I want to know the ability of students' grammar mastery. And then the next slide, there is method of collecting data. The data will be collected through the following phases, which are 3: observation, documentation, and also test. Then for the last, method of data analysis. So in this study using simple regression, in this study there are two variables, namely independent variable and also dependent variable. For the independent variable, it is about the variable that affects or makes the cause and existence of the dependent variable. So the independent variable of this study is the influence of learning media. So it means the independent variable of this study is typhoon games. And then the dependent variable is the type of variable that is affected or that becomes the result of the independent variable. So it means the dependent variable of this study is about the students' mastery of basic grammar in English. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you very much for your attention. I do apologize if I did some mistakes in this video. So thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.